What is up everybody, this is Bruce and the Rubric channel. Today we have an unusual live video. This live is dedicated to my city. There were a lot of requests to film a separate episode, let's say, about my city and why I started building it, how I develop everything, how I store it all. So today we have an episode about my Lego city. In this room, besides the city itself, I have all the sets that are still unbuilt. There is a huge number of them, and this shelf doesn't even hold everything. Almost everything under the city is packed with parts and sets that haven't been opened or used yet. Let's start with storing the parts, then we'll move on to the city. A lot of parts are needed for the city. I stored them somewhat by color. For example, here are dark peach, light peach. The light peach ones didn't fit in one box, they take up two. Here I have a dark burgundy, that very fragile color red. Here I have, whoa, it's good to dig around sometimes. So I also have the rocks. That's very good. I'll need them soon. So, by the way, there is also our railroad here. I need to move this. You see how good it is to shoot vlogs. My railroad is now everywhere here. I'll have to move it. So, what else do we have here? Maybe I'll find something else. Here I have windows, doors. Here is the light blue. It's good for the ocean. Dark blue. Here is white. I haven't quite structured everything correctly in some places. You see here I have green and small items that are left over from the sets. Here I have slopes for the mountains of different formats. So I also have them in the main boxes. Here is what didn't fit. Oh, and there are also bricks here. The bricks, I want to redo something near the city hall with these bricks. They have already arrived. I went to fix it here so that they are not flat but bricks like I did here on the steps. So that's what I have here. Here I have a super mix of Lego pieces. Here are arms and legs and heads and life jackets and trash cans and some parts from sets that I'm restoring. They're also here. Here are such parts, all sorts of helmets, the headgear, everything for minifigures is here. Basically, well, there are also wheels and these bricks. There is also a little bit of everything, fences, and here I have a mix of different Lego pieces, things like technical parts and pieces. Look. Well, in short, this is my mix box. Next, as you understand, a lot of roads were needed for the city. I usually buy sets, and here is how many traffic lights and these kinds of street lights I have in reserve from these sets. This is just, well, such a big box. You can light up and put traffic lights all over the city. I have such a box. Then I have a box just for the ocean. Here I have the transparent parts. Here's dark blue 1x4, 1x2, light blue 1x1, regular parts. This is the pearlescent. Here is flat 1x1. These are 1x1 round squares, 1x4 flat. I have different parts. I'll need to order some. Oh, by the way, I need to order these kinds of parts because we want more of them here, but I'll use them first and maybe I'll need them for the rivers. So in any case, I definitely need 500 of these, and probably I'll need to order these two because there definitely won't be enough here. And at the bottom, I already have regular parts in dark blue. This is for the depth and they're big. There are 4x4s here and 2x2s. Everything is stored into these bags that Lego sends. Well, I use also the IKEA bags, zip bags. So here I have different parts for our introductory moments in the city. Okay, that's it. We'll close this. Sorting also takes a lot of time. And here we have a green box. Here are 2x2 slopes. We'll use these to detail our mountains. Here are 1x1s. Here are these. An empty pack is doing something here. In general, I have a green box here. There are also trees here. So, here is a box that you could say is a work box. There is all sorts of unsorted stuff here. This is still from the move. Something from somewhere. I still often take things from here. It was full of a month ago. Now about 20% of it is left. This is a work box that I always use. I'm looking for something is missing somewhere. Here are black parts. There's also a maximum mix here. Black parts are less important to me. I try to use them somewhere at the bottom where the parts aren't visible. Here are black parts. So there is another box. I have brown parts here, and I have trees that are already assembled. By the way, they also need to be adapted into the city. There are flowers here. Flowers, they usually also remain from road sets. I put them here. And brown ones that didn't fit in the main boxes. I also store the brown color here. The next box is called for the roads. Here I have 1x2 dark gray parts, 2x3, 1x4. These are all useful for railroads. Then 1x4 long ones, these are for regular roads. 2x3 for baseplate, 2x2. Then pedestrian crossings here, 1x2 light gray, more light gray. I won't even focus on that. Here we have parts for bike paths. Here they are, different formats depending on the roads. These are turning roads. Here's the drawing itself, different formats. These are very rare parts. They travel from Denmark to America. And then here, also for pedestrians, yellow sizes. Also for these moments, white part. Here are the road grades, also 1x2. And then for minifigures to stand, these are 2x2. 1x4, 1x8. Pins to connect all the roads, 1x4. To make these, this is like a sample. That's why so many parts of different colors are used. These are ready-made moments for roads. For the roads, 2x4, an important part too. Something brown is doing here. Need to remove it from here. So, in general, different parts, everything related to roads is here. It's more convenient for me to store them here and not by color, because then you look for everything. This simplifies the work process and you immediately understand what's missing, where to order. Because I didn't have it fixed online anywhere in any tables. Everything is from memory. Here is a box for baseplate. Here I have 2x2 parts and 4x4 ones. Here my dark grays have run out. There are only 6x8 parts left for the roads, the ones I showed you as a sample. And there are very few 4x4s left. I don't even have enough for half the plate. There are also 4x6, but I don't really want to mix them. I don't think there will be enough either. Maybe you can try. In general, they're mainly 2x2, 4x4, 6x4, and 8x6 for roads, which will use filler, though this can be moved to the road box, but there's little space there. And the last big box here, you have store various large format plates. These, what are they called? Pillars, roads, yes, these large pieces. It turns out 8x16, 16x16 are all sorted in this box. You could also say this is for the roads and for our mountains to elevate our city. So here I have parts all by color. Here are different formats parts, light gray. Here I have a mix that will be useful for storing my old sets because I ordered them, bring them here because the sets are old. I almost immediately put them away. All the boxes here are all disassembled sets. It won't be possible to find them, and there is nowhere to put them yet. When I start arranging them, I'll take them from here and restore them. Here everything is light gray, a lot, and here are dark grays. Here everything is dark gray. Everything here is also dark gray. Everything is structured by parts. It is very convenient. So I store them, turns out, in these 3 sections. This is one shelf of 3 sections. I bought it for about, I guess, $15. And these small containers. Here it turns out we have 5 compartments. They cost about $2 a piece, but these unfortunately are out of stock. This is a Turkish production. Maybe someone will find this brand, and these are Chinese. So exactly 4 pieces fit in each box. So let's move on. This side I have green, all sorts of flowers. I store all this here. Here the parts are also not very well sorted, leftovers from sets. So it's the same here. They're kind of sorted here one by one prints, but they're not in a box because there's not much space. Here I mainly have all these transparent parts. These are for cars, for windows. Let's move on. Here I have brown parts, dark brown. Here is gold, and there are leaves from the tree house. And here is everything yellow and closer to an orange hue. I guess here are such parts, either 2x4 or even larger. Here is a color, I don't even know, some kind of bluish hue, which I confused, thought it was the one we needed for water, this hue. But I mixed up the colors. It also came from Denmark, but I think it will be useful somewhere. Here are all the railroads, curved, straights, the switches, so a lot of roads. We filmed something underwater for my son here. I decided to leave it assembled. Here are 2x2 white, 1x2, also for mills. Here they are again. My boxes didn't fit here. This is something we found with you. Let's move on. Here is all sorts of sort of small stuff, and heads and eyes and water and fire and all sorts of swords and whips. So here I also have food and stars and slingshot. In short, there's a little bit of everything, and bullets and not bullets and wheels, and this is mainly what's left over from supplies. I mean some extra hair. There's black parts. Here are the mountains. The rocks need to clean up here. Here I have different transparent parts. So here is small stuff one by one. All sorts of technical stuff again from leftover sets. Here I have the IKEA bags. Here is everything old, used, something gets freed up somewhere. I throw everything here. There are more gloves. Yeah, gloves for filming sometimes come in handy. It's unclear what. Here are the mini trees. These are for another channel. There we have a vacuum cleaner. Dinosaurs are hiding here under the city. Large format ones. We unboxed this video yesterday. Brachiosaurus. And here I store keychains. Here are the Lego bags. All these are new sets. Everything else is the Lego parts. I have 2 columns for storing sets that I bought but still haven't stored it. Haven't found the parts. This is in progress. Maybe I'll assemble a few more sets in the upcoming episodes. There are also large format sets here. There is a lot more to assemble here. Everything is sorted by color. So they're by parts. You see everything is transparent here. Dark gray large, medium, and dark gray technical. It's very easy to assemble everything in the end. Here are the torsos. Here are some unusual parts. Here are parts like bionicles, light gray, yellow. Here are different colors that there aren't many of to give them a separate box. White, black. Also 3 boxes of black of different sizes and formats, different colors, blue, and this way it's easy to assemble the sets themselves. This is all scrap that I used for restoring sets. This is from different collections what I brought up. There are a lot of parts here. There are only sorted by colors, so there is such a mess here. I'm trying to sort some things. Very large parts, medium ones, technical ones somewhere. I've already sorted some, I think, into technical ones. Yes, here is only Technic, you see. Here are different minifigures. This was also a collection bought on Monday. There might be something valuable here. I haven't gotten to it yet. Here are different colors. Here is also some kind of mix. There are parts with prints. Here's a whole huge box. There might be a lot of valuable stuff here too. These are clearly some Star Wars sets. There are large plates. So that's how I sort the parts. Phew, it was difficult. I told you about all the parts. Let's move on. Probably to the city itself. Well, I'll tell you such a preface how it all started. We started building the city with my son. These were small Lego city sets. There was a school, then a fire station, then there were some other sets that already included these road plates. And somehow we thought, let's build a city. And it all started, and from that moment I started collecting Lego in general. Therefore, the city is the basis of my Lego collection. It was, of course, at the first stage, it was some kind of a basic plate. As you can see, everything has become so huge for me. This is, of course, an achievement. The city initially developed in my old office. There were probably conditionally 1 table, 2, 3, 4 tables here. The city was initially on 1 table. 2 and 3 tables were the maximum because more wouldn't fit in that room. And it turns out that since August we've grown to this size. From such a small corner, I even had a train running there on such a scale. We have assembled a lot of sets during this period since August 1st. We made a beach. There was no beach at all before. We made the city center. We made a 2-lane road. This was also only my dream. So I believe that the city has transformed many times over. Let's talk about the tables. The tables were initially laid out incorrectly. To be honest, I already had 1 table. I stored various things there, and I decided to assemble the city on it. And there was conditionally some table size. I don't remember, maybe 90 by 2 conditionally. And I decided that since I already have this table size, I need to order the same tables so that the city eventually becomes large and the proportions don't change. But I didn't take into account the size of the base plates. Therefore, I advise people who want to build a city out of Lego to start from the size of the plates. If you are going to assemble on large 48 by 48 plates, then accordingly start from this size. If you're going to build a city on small 32 by 32 plates, then start from that size and build the city according to these proportions. As a result, when this part of the city up to here, if anyone has been watching my channel for a long time, I added 2 tables here. They weren't there before. All these tables, without these tables, everything was fine. Yes, there was this gap on this side. My table was visible by 1 centimeters. Now you can see here, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Yes, here you can see that the table is slightly larger than the plate. I started to work out the details more thoroughly, and I realized that everything was initially wrong. And this last table is ideal for building the city. Exactly two large base plates and a third of another plate does fit here. So you can of course build simply from two large ones, but then the tables are a bit out of proportion. For me, the table proportion is ideal so that they can reach from this side and reach from that side. And the holes themselves with this proportion will be much smaller. They are currently, well, to be honest, yes, huge. Ideally, they should be reduced even more, but then I won't be able to reach the edges. Ideally, I need to reduce the city completely so that I can walk around it. Initially, there was such an idea, but given these realities that I practically can't fit anything else, I can't even add another table here because it will interfere with filming. The maximum I can still do to increase it is to disassemble all these here, assemble all these sets and another small table above the vacuum cleaner and increase our ocean. That's it. I won't be able to do anything else here. This is my maximum, everything I can squeeze out of this room. Or we later remove the shelving unit of these sets that haven't been assembled yet, and then we can add a few more tables here, but this will be a super huge city. So I don't know what will happen next yet. To be honest, I'm even thinking about looking for a larger space, but this of course is very, very scary. Honestly, you can't imagine. Even the 3 tables that I had, yes, I still had package sets that we were moving. There were sets that were already assembled and waiting for the city to expand. Nevertheless, the city is much larger now. A very large number of packages have arrived since August, and moving all this will be very and very difficult. Packaging all this, wrapping it in film, bubble wrap boxes, wow, so much money will be spent to transport all this, and time is the most important thing. Yes, it's all convenient, everything is on plate, it won't be that difficult because you won't have to disassemble it. It will only be a little dangerous to transport the buildings themselves, especially the fragile ones like the Ninjaku ones. I only put the lots on a base plate, the rest are not on a base plate. They're all wobbly even after the move. For example, the tree house is also so fragile if you transport it. Otherwise, everything can be wrapped and moved safely. It's just time. Ideally, yes, of course, I would like to grow twice as much so that we have more green space, but that's definitely not this year. Therefore, try to draw and calculate everything down to the millimeter from the beginning so that you have everything exactly according to the drawing so that all the base plates fit perfectly. I plan in case of a move to completely change the size of all the tables to this format, to the ideal format, and rebuild the city. And ideally, if I move so that I can walk around, so that people can walk around, view the city from all sides. Let's talk more while we're not talking about the city as a whole. Let's talk about dust. Also a frequent question. How do you get rid of dust? Honestly, it's difficult because we are on the first floor and high-rise buildings are being built outside and our street is not paved. Dust is just 24/7. When we moved in here, I immediately laid carpet based on the experience of other American bloggers because it absorbs the dust and the dust doesn't rise. And then I bought a vacuum cleaner so that it would go around and vacuum at least once or twice a week. But it also depends on whether I'm building anything on the floor. But we recently put a table here, so I won't be assembling anything on the floor anymore. Based on this, I will vacuum even more often. Then, I installed an air purifier. It also sucks in dust and cleans the air. And in the summer, I put in a humidifier, which also, so to speak, prevents dust. But nevertheless, this doesn't really help. Dust still. Yes, look at here. Look at this. Dust still accumulates, of course, not as much as I had before. Before I couldn't keep up. I cleaned once a week. Thankfully, of course, the city was only 3 tables then. And it wasn't that long. But now it's a huge city. I only go over the visible places. Somewhere inside, I can even see dust under the roof of that house from here. I don't reach there. I do it once a month. I go over it with a brush. Then I have 2 vacuum cleaners. First I took a vacuum cleaner from the Xiaomi brand. It cost around $50, but it broke down on me. There was something wrong with the battery. I thought, well, damn, these must be not very good vacuum cleaners, and I took one for $150. It's a Hair brand. However, it's spelled correct, but it turned out to be not that powerful. I don't know the maximum power. You heard the sound, everything will be clear. And listen, it's very powerful, so I recommend taking Xiaomi. The courier let me down. Maybe it was some kind of defect, but I don't think so. These are just vacuum cleaners. And these are the brushes. I can't find another one. There is also a third brush, the main one. Maybe I left it somewhere in the city. First I go over with a brush, then I sweep all the dust of the modular buildings themselves. And then I go around the building with a vacuum cleaner, a little bit on the building itself too, to sweep the dust of the city. Just like that. So there is also a small brush, but I mainly use it when old sets come in to remove dust from small cracks too. This is painstaking work. It takes almost half a day. In my volume there is also a popular against the background of which I always film in my main videos. There were also a lot of sets there, and in total it takes about half a day, a month to sweep dust of the sets. Therefore, you can't get rid of dust, especially while there's construction outside the window. If you look at the windows, we have curtained them and also completely covered them with film. Nevertheless, maybe from the ceiling, I don't know where else, dust still comes in with things and it still gradually settles on the buildings. And now let's talk about the city itself. What I've done at the moment, we have the main central park. This is the center. Here we have the beach. There is also such a central street that will lead into a tunnel. I don't know, maybe there won't be a tunnel. It's in the plans for now. I see a huge rock here with a tunnel, but I don't know where to put the green area. I don't know where to put these rockets. I also need a residential complex. Maybe I need to sacrifice one of the roads to increase the city at least a bit, because roads take up probably 30% of the city for sure. Look how many roads there are here, and so there are a lot of roads here. Maybe I need to say goodbye to them, but I wouldn't want to do that. There is still space for model homes. I have 2 spaces here, 2 spaces there. In the residential complex, there are also about 2 or 3 spaces there. Again, it depends on what I'm going to do there. The winter village is also generally not in the theme yet because it's not the season, but I have nothing to put there, so let's let it be there for now. Ideally, this rock should also go there, and there should be more snowy mountain, and the winter village should be under the mountain. Well, I don't know yet. My plans in the near future are to make a zoo. There should be a zoo here. That is, we remove all these boxes. We put a zoo here. Here's our driveway. It leads to Rubric Park, a regular park that I will stylize in this style, black and gray. And the paths themselves will be white and yellow, the central road like this. And on the left and right we have some attractions. On the left we have small eateries, balloons, lanterns, small attractions, and on the right there are already large attractions like these. We haven't built a haunted house for the park yet, and I will also the old American roller coaster, and there is also a large Ferris wheel. I'll take that too, so 2 more large attractions should go there next, and the path will go almost to the end. And on that side we also have such entertainment. We have a greenhouse, a museum, there's a bank on the corner, maybe some more buildings will be built there related at least to the entertainment. That is, here's an entertainment area taking into account our future zoo, which will be here. Here we have a parking area. From here you can go to the zoo and the park. Here we will have a pier. It will be finished. There is also a Lego set. A message came that the sets have arrived, so today I will also go for packages. We'll also have such a pier here. There is a Lego City set. I'll show it to you now. Here it is. I want to put it here with the container, some small loading area, and maybe I'll make a part of the zoo, half a plate, a closed area where dolphins will swim. It will be closed on such a small plate, half a plate, but all this is in the plans, but I want to do this in the near future because this is the entrance. We enter, we see this table first. What else? Well, the winter village is there for now. Maybe the park will go there, maybe there will be mountain. I don't want to think about it yet. I have something to do, but I have thoughts of rebuilding the city, so I won't talk about it yet. So next, what do we have here? The Central Street buildings. Maybe you see I have 2 cinemas and 2 hotels. You can also remove one because these are duplicates. We also have a duplicate of our city hall here. It's in the center of the city. Then there are some of my homemade buildings. Maybe remove them. I don't know. All the mini bloggers are moving away from original houses altogether. At least they are remaking them so that the city differs from all Lego sets. But I believe that Lego makes cool sets, and I would like to leave them in their original form. Here beach continues. Here we move into the Middle Ages. To be honest, I would like here where I plan to add a table after I disassemble all this and make such a medieval area here. Bring the sun here a little bit, maybe make a lighthouse here, and it will remain in this area, and here I will have maybe some kind of castle, and this ship will look good against the background of this castle. Here is our green area, which connects with the railroad. If we talk about how it looks now, of course it's not what I would like. If we talk about this rock, yes, it's already detailed, but if you look from above, from this side, there is still a lot of work here. Now everything looks raw. I think that the city as a whole is raw because you need to make traffic lights, add some signs, lights. I don't like these trees at all. This is all temporary. I'm making a base for now, and then I'll detail it. I don't even like my beach, to be honest, because I would like there to be some mini waves near the sand. In general, the gradient itself suits me. Maybe you can add one more blue color here, then there will be a good gradient. But I wouldn't want to disassemble all this. The maximum I want to do here is make some waves near the sand. There is no history in the city at all. Therefore, there is still a lot of work to be done from what is even now. Thinking about expansion is also, it seems to me, too early. Maybe change something somewhere, rearrange, yes, but moving somewhere, no, because we haven't finished here yet. So we are finishing the green area, we are still raising the mountains, and then we will detail everything. And I need to decide about the rockets. There are also a lot of sets that shouldn't be here at all. There is City of like a city. I just have nowhere to put them now. There's also a 2-level elevated parking lot. I also need to put it somewhere. So yes, there is a lot of work to be done here. We'll still think about what to put where, how to detail everything. So in the near future, the zoo is the most important thing for me. And also move the mountain. Today or tomorrow I will order parts. I need to order about 3,000 parts to at least finish the base plate. So, and build some more buildings that will be part of the city. In general, I have almost everything assembled. I don't even have anything left here. Only this haunted house here. I'm not assembling it because I'm waiting. There part that the mechanism turns out these parts 8808 parts, 2 pieces, they're out of production. It turns out I bought the unit, but these parts are not available. I can't find them, or they cost a lot on eBay, but most likely I will have to spend the money. There are also a couple of sets from the Winter Village, and there is also a village from the Vikings, which is exactly what I was talking about. It would fit perfectly here. So here is the Harry Potter. The maximum of this ship will also go into the city. The rest will be a separate shell for Harry Potter, where we will put Hogwarts and everything else. Therefore, maybe some SUVs will remain here from the city. I have sets on the jungle. Here they are. Gorillas. Here it seems to me there are 5 or 4 sets that were released last year. They will go to me soon. Otherwise, all this is not in the city this year. Arkham Batman is also coming out. Maybe it will be included in the city. And it seems a Simpsons store is also coming. My Simpsons house and everything in general. Maybe something modular will come out, but there is nothing more to put. I really dream, of course, about modular buildings, bricklaying, but to be honest, they are more expensive and there are a lot of details. And so I still have what to buy. I collect not only what is in the city. Therefore, they are under consideration, and their price tag takes off immediately after release by 2 times. We will think maybe I will start ordering something from the year 2. I haven't said anything yet about the railroads. You could say a draft version. Ideally, I would like a train to run throughout the city. It's much more interesting that way, or at least run one more train there in the park, so that you enter and you have a train here, a train there, all this in motion. Of course, if we talk about going into the future, I would like to have a night mode for my buildings, but this is a colossal job. All this needs to be disassembled, reassembled to highlight all these buildings. I definitely need someone's help for this. I honestly would not want to do this. And so, as I said earlier, I want to eventually turn all this into a museum. It already in principle looks like a museum. I can safely invite someone here, show them. Everyone who comes here is delighted, but I believe that it is not yet worthy of being a museum. There is still a lot of work here. There are, of course, such closed museums where people in the process show changes per week. People come and help build trees. I know there is a such practice in the world. Perhaps I will launch something like this, but in my city where I live, there are not so many Lego fans who would come, evaluate, or help build. Everyone is super busy now, and we, as I said earlier, are dominated by Lego analogs. What else would you like to hear? I would like to add trains, but again, trains will take away a lot of territory. Where to fit it, if we talk about making the train run through the park, we will then have no space for the road. You can run something like a tram inside the park, which will go back and forth because we have one base plate in width. Here you can make a road for people to walk, and on this side a tram runs. I even have some kind of red tram, Lego sets, Lego city. By the way, not all will go to the city. Perhaps there will be some kind of mini town 4+ for my son. Well, because I don't know where to put those police stations, putting them somewhere on a shelf when, God willing, something frees up here. Well, I also don't know. We'll think. Moreover, we have old roads. We also need to put them somewhere. If I disassemble our carting, there are also a lot of road plates there. Well, then what else do we have planned? You see the table is showing here because, as I told you, I ordered the tables incorrectly. Here we have a strip that can be greened. Here you can have some kind of green area, flowers. All this also needs to be greened. My city is all kind of stone. The bush is only here. I have some near the buildings, and here I added a little near the city hall, but this is not enough. The beach definitely needs palm trees. By the way, I would like to green this road with palm trees, not just ordinary trees. It will also look good, like some kind of Los Angeles conditionally. In short, there is a lot of work. I hope that this is not the last episode about the Lego City, such a large scale episode, and next time I will show what I have implemented from what I am saying now, what changes. Probably some table will be added. I will definitely finish the zoo, but there is a lot of work, a lot of details. I would also like to say in conclusion, anyone who wants to build the same city, be prepared for the fact that it is very expensive. Raising everything on a base plate is very expensive. The parts are not cheap. I have to order all this from the States again. Now I am looking for an option to order from Europe because after the innovation that Trump introduced, I think that Lego might also increase the price tag for the States, and it will not be so profitable. Perhaps I will find such a good alternative to order parts cheaper. I saw that many bloggers were in back somehow. Either you need to contact Lego directly to make it cheaper because they order one piece at a time, 100 or 200 pieces. It's very expensive. We don't have stores where I could take this box, complete it. Therefore, I have to order piece by piece. It is very expensive. Here in Bricklink, here if we talk about parts, there are probably already at least $20,000 worth of Lego parts only to raise the city, to make a beach, all these roads. There are only roads here. I don't know how many of these sets are ordered. Therefore, be prepared for expenses. Many people told me, why do you use the original ones? You can, put the building original, but the city itself, these roads, the sand, you can use Chinese analogs. But I think that this is such a bad idea. Moreover, minifigures from the original are not very friendly with Chinese parts. Their legs will cracks. Well, such a story. Well, and also, finally, right? Many people wrote, I also thought about this, that my city is flat, right? I would like there to be some elevation, and thereby the city will be better viewed. This is a good idea. I think about it more and more every day to save money. By the way, I myself saw, and someone wrote that you can increase all this on some wooden stands, then you can save on the parts. It is also possible that I will come to this, that I will raise that part completely from the middle of the city by at least this part by 15 centimeters, and I will make such lifting roads. Then our city will be even higher. You can make the mountains even higher there. But this is also in the plan. This is a huge reconstructing. There will definitely be slopes and side walls to cover. A colossal job that requires a lot of time. I unfortunately do not have much of it now. Therefore, perhaps the city will also rise in height. I don't know if it was interesting to you or not. Write in the comments. Maybe you will have some more questions. I will be happy to answer them. I just improvisationally, without any structure, decided to just show you everything, tell you how I store all this and how I built all this. This also takes a lot of time. Therefore, be prepared not only for the cost of money but also for time. This is what the episode about. My Lego city turned out to be. I am still happy with it. Every time I come in and admire what I have done here. This was Rose, the Rubric channel. Goodbye.